Babies dreaming. They won it by 4 in the end.
American Anthem has taken off. American Anthem easily in the Woody Stevens.
Hi everybody and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by WinStar Farm. I'm Dan Illman along with Nicole Russo, and let's take a look at the field for the Thursday Spa Baby event at Saratoga. It's race number 3 at 1 1/16 on the inner turf. It is a maiden special weight for New York breds. We see Todd Pletcher very well represented by the number 8 Blue Atlas, the 8-5 morning line favorite on Travis Stone's line. The 4 Duder for Chad Brown, a 2-1 first-time starter. Let's talk about, though, the number 1 and the number 1A, Rayana Rhea Delight, Rayana Rhea Dreams. It seems like they're in every single Spa Baby event. Let's get them out of the way. Let's take a look at the horse card for Rayana Rhea Delight, a $10,000 purchase back in June. We see the sire Utopia is only 3% with first turf winners, and this filly hasn't done much on the dirt.
No, not really. This will be her 4th career start. As you said, all her prior starts have come sprinting on the dirt. Her best finish so far is a 6th last out. So she's improved. Maybe she's starting to figure out the game. Maybe turf will wake her up. But as you said, we've seen these two stablemates several times already.
We had hoped that the 1A, Rayana Rhea Dreams, would improve on the turf. She has a little bit of turf pedigree, a $30,000 purchase in May, a halves to 2 turf winners, the Dam Stakes winner on the lawn. And she showed a little bit of speed in her turf debut here on August the 2nd, but she backed up readily to finish last. Another one that really needs to improve, but maybe we'll see brief speed on the stretch out and distance.
Yeah, I think she'll play a factor in this race, particularly, as you mentioned, going this distance where we're looking for how it's going to set up. But as you mentioned, she kind of backed up through the field last time. Again, also her 4th career start. Her best finish so far is a 5th, sprinting on the dirt at Belmont. The
number 2 is Queen Courage, one of 2 in here by Courageous Cat. And let's talk about Courageous Cat as a stallion, because when you think about this horse as a racehorse, you think turf.
Yeah, definitely. Very well-bred horse is Courageous Cat. His biggest win came in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. He was a really hard-knocking horse, big, impressive physical. He was a nice get for the New York Stallion market, and he's certainly been a turf sire.
As we see from the horse card of the number 2, Queen Courage, a $1,000 buyback as a yearling, but she is a half-sister to a turf stakes winner. If you want to make the excuse for the turf debut at Saratoga on July the 23rd, she was facing a pretty decent group of open maiden special weight. She drops in with New York breds here. I would expect further improvement. I'm just not sure it's good enough to grab the lion's share of the purse.
Well, I think you hit the nail exactly on the head. She definitely moved forward on turf last out. Her buyer was not great in her debut, so it's hard to get worse, but she did jump up quite a bit in terms of buyer points when moved to the turf. She is dropping down against state breds. She did show that improvement stretching out on the turf. So I do think she'll like this trip. It's just a question of whether she can move forward enough to be competitive with these.
It'll be first time 2 turns for the number 3, Northern Street Gala. And let's talk about the quality in this female family. There are a lot of graded influences under this family.
Oh, definitely. She's by a New York Stallion, and Here Comes Ben, a well-bred Grade 1 winning sprinter on the dirt, winning the Forgo. But she's got some turf and synthetic ability underneath. This is the family of graded winners in the close-up family: Gala Spinaway, Power Play, Freck Daddy, who is a really cool and versatile horse. So this is one who I think is going to enjoy the turf. 5th on debut sprinting on the turf, then 4th in the Lynbrook, both against state breds. Broke poorly both times. I think perhaps adding the extra distance will give her the time to overcome that poor break, should she continue to have trouble with the starting gate.
And I'd expect a good trip coming under Louise Sy, as I think she'll break. She'll show a little bit of that sprint speed. Maybe she'll settle in the pocket down towards the inside in the early portion of this race. The number 4 is Duder, a first-time starter trained by Chad Brown. This one cost a pretty penny, a $260,000 yearling. Flatter is a very good stallion, but I have to admit, I've never really loved them on turf.
No, it's interesting. Flatter we've discussed as one of those AP Indy stallions that can inject speed into a horse. But, you know, they've done most of their best work on dirt, certainly. Flat Out, Taurus, you know, Grade 1 winners there. It is a turfy female family. You're looking underneath and you see horses like Fantastic Find, Finder's Fee, who were Grade 1 winners on dirt. But the family has also produced the Grade 3 winning and Grade 1 place turf filly Feathered. It's the family of Optimizer, who was a nice turf horse. You have some turf influences underneath, but that stallion makes me think more dirt, yes.
A strong Phipps female family, but as you mentioned, turf on the bottom. The dam won a couple of times on the turf, and it's Chad Brown, which means handicappers and horse players must pay attention. Let's watch the Chad Brown formulator fact for Duder. As we see over the past 5 years with 2-year-old first-time starters in stake-bred maiden special weight turf routes, he's won half of the 12 starts, 50%. A $5.50 ROI. Throw out Chad at your own discretion. The 5 is Molly's Nighthawk, a first-time starter for trainer John Kimmel. This one's by Freud, so you expect turf.
Yeah, definitely. Freud is New York's perennial leading sire. He particularly dominates the turf standings. He's led that sire list in New York several years in a row. An outstanding turf stallion. And there is some turf on the bottom side. The second dam is a turf graded performer. And I also want to talk about broodmare sire Flower Alley. We know him best for winning the Traverse and for siring I'll Have Another dual classic winner and champion, but he seems to have international appeal. He's now standing in South Africa, actually. Those interests purchased him several years ago. And Flower Alley has really been in demand in Japan. I'll Have Another, of course, purchased for stud duty there. Another Grade 1 winner, Lilacs and Lace by Flower Alley, purchased by Japanese interests as a broodmare prospect. I find it interesting that the international market has invested so strongly in Flower Alley, and that makes me think that he could add some hidden turf ability to this one as well.
I agree. This looks like a very strong turf pedigree. John Kimmel underrated with his first-time starters. Maybe this one is to catch at a price. That's the number 5, Molly's Nighthawk. Let's look back on Codrington's turf debut on August the 2nd. This race was at 5.5 furlongs. They swing into the stretch. You see Codrington is the number 4 with the white blaze. Shuffled a little bit here. She gets to the outside. She's a little bit green with her lead changes, but she runs on well. Marked improvement from her career debut on dirt, where you got the feeling the trainer David Donk simply wanted to get her experience. She really improved, as you see in this performance on the turf, and getting a chance to stretch out around 2 turns could be key.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Courageous Cat, as we mentioned, was very much a miler turf type. This filly was a much improved third, sprinting on the turf last out. I think adding that little bit of distance, looking at that stallion who we've already discussed, Courageous Cat, should help as well. The dam was stakes placed as a 2-year-old, so there's quality underneath.
The 7 is an intriguing first-time starter named Single Mission. This is a daughter of Mission Impassable, and Mission Impassable has really made a mark with his 2-year-olds in New York.
Yeah, the son of Unbridled Song was New York's leading freshman sire last year. He's currently on top of the juvenile sire ranks, doing very well in the state. He's really found a niche here. And this one gets the juvenile ability and precocity from the sire and a lot of turf class underneath to go with it. The Giants Causeway mare Dancing Solo, a graded winner routing on the turf. The second dam is a full sister to multiple Grade 1 winning millionaire turf mare Voodoo Dancer. Michael Stidham has trained some nice turf horses. This one's been working steadily on the all-weather at his Fair Hill base. I really like a lot of things about this filly.
Big turf pedigree, as you mentioned. One of the workouts with Avinu Malkenu, a horse from a different barn that won first time out at this meet on the dirt. And we have a positive Michael Stidham formulator fact. We'll take a look at it right now. Over the past 4 years, 2-year-old first-time starter in maiden special weight turf routes. He's hitting at almost 30% with almost a $4 return on investment. This is a really interesting filly by Mission Impassable. The number 8 is Blue Atlas, who made her career debut for Todd Pletcher's sprinting on July the 1st. We're going to take a look at that race right now, and you see her down towards the inside. She is the number 7, and this is a bit of an intimidating place for an inexperienced 2-year-old filly, but she shows a willingness to go through a tight opening down on the inside. She briefly pokes her head in front, and then she is outfinished by the winner. But all in all, a very good effort, and being by English Channel, she should relish the opportunity to stretch her legs around this distance on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. English Channel turf champion, winner of so many of those good turf route events during his career, including the Breeders' Cup Turf. A really tough horse, and I like that this filly seems to have gotten that from him, as you mentioned, going through that pocket. English Channel was a fierce, fierce competitor. Turf on the bottom as well. Out of a More Than Ready mare. We've talked about him so much for his juvenile ability, for his turf ability, that good internationally popular WinStar stallion. The dam of this filly, Iron Goddess by More Than Ready, a stakes winner going 7 furlongs on turf. The dam of a couple of stakes horses. So a lot of turf and a lot of class in this family. And as you mentioned, should definitely appreciate the distance.
Blue Atlas, arguably the horse to beat. She is 8-5 on the morning line. Where are you going in race number 3 at the Spa on Thursday?
Well, I think Blue Atlas is definitely the horse to beat, but I'm hoping to get some value with Single Mission right inside her there. As I mentioned, a lot of things I like about this filly. I love the pedigree. I think she'll relish this route on turf, and I like the way she's been working at Fair Hill. I'll also take an outside look in exotics at Molly's Nighthawk, the Freud filly. Another one that I think there's a lot of turf, a lot of quality there, and should work out a decent trip. Where are you leaning?
I think you landed on the value plays in there, but for me it's going to be in Chad I Trust. I will forego my natural aversion to flatters on the turf. I have a feeling this number 4 Duder has found a nice spot for her career debut. Todd's horse Blue Atlas, very logical as well. 4, 8, and 6 for me. In race number 3 at Saratoga, our Spa Baby race for Thursday. Nicole and I will be back later this week for more Spa Babies action presented by WinStar Farm.